Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going well. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are creating 10 cards with the Spellbinders card kit of the month for June 2020. This month's kit is so fun. It's called Life is a Party. Lots of bright, bold colors. And so we're going to jump in. If you missed the unboxing, I'll link it, of course, at the end of the video if you want to check it out. That's where I created my flowers for a couple of the cards that I made today. But jumping into card number 1, we're going to use a few of the pattern papers in the 6x6 Life is a Party paper pack. Normally I trim them ahead of time, but I'm going to just do my little layering and trim all at once. But the panel sizes with this piece of pattern paper ends up being 3 3/4 inches by 3.5 inches. And then I went ahead and tacked down a strip of the gold cardstock, and then we're going to tack that down to the black and white stripe paper, and then that ends up measuring 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. I just trimmed it all at once to make it easier. Actually, if you wanted to shorten that black and white cardstock to save a little bit of pattern paper, you very well could, but it for me it just made the cardstock or the pattern paper a little bit heavier, so I like that. So my panel ends up being 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. So it's going to leave me a little bit of a border around my card base, which we're going to grab right now. I'm using the card bases that came in the kit. There were 10. Now there is double-sided tape that came in the kit and also foam adhesive, but for my videos it's just easier for me to use my tape runner to make it go a little bit quicker. I'm going to go ahead and mat one of the die cut pieces. This die cut piece says loving these good vibes. I'm going to mat this on my gold cardstock here. I love this gold cardstock. I love cutting it. I don't know what it is about it. It's kind of got like a foil feel to it, and it embosses beautifully, but I love that Spellbinders includes this foil cardstock in the kit. But I'm going to go ahead and add foam adhesive behind my sentiment, and then this is going to go along the seam where that other gold piece is. Now I have 2 of the little red hearts from the die cut pack. We're going to add those. I did add foam adhesive behind them, and then I'm going to glossy them up using my Journey Glaze. Journey Glaze is like a glossy accents, and it's going to give it shine and dimension, and that finishes off my first card. For card number 2, we're going to use some of the dies in the, or actually just one. We're going to use this beautiful flourish, and I'm going to die cut it out with the white cardstock twice. Once this is die cut out, I went ahead and took some of the pattern paper. There was a piece that was a rainbow piece, and I trimmed that one down to 2 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. You want to make sure that your stripes are horizontal, the length of your card base. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to my card base, and I wanted a little bit of both of the top pink and the bottom pink, so I'm kind of spacing it evenly, and then I'll just open it up and then use my scissors and trim off the excess. In this month's kit there were some chipboard stickers, and I wanted to use the heart here, and the heart had some pinks in it, so that's why I wanted to keep a lot of the pinks. I was going to just directly adhere that to my card, and I decided to pop it up with foam adhesive. I like to add my foam adhesive behind my sticker first without removing the release paper, and then go ahead and dab it with some powder. Your anti-static powder tool works great, and then you can remove the release paper, and then you just get rid of that tackiness for your shipping. That way it doesn't smush down on your card. I'm going to go ahead and adhere. I thought we'd bring in some of the white from the right side to the left side. So this is a great way to use these little flourishes from the dies this month. I added 2, just gluing those down. Then we'll go ahead and add our little heart, covering up the bottom of those flourish stems with it. And then we'll add our second little heart. I like things in 3s, and in case you're new to my channel, I always kind of do trio of things. So we're going to add one more little heart. This one we're going to add foam adhesive to. We're going to add that over the seam. I was going to use my anti-static powder tool, but the sticky area wasn't that bad, so I decided not to. This month's kit came with some beautiful white. There's some regular white and then some iridescent white sequins, and I'm going to use a few of just the solid white ones. on the white area and then also on the colored area, and that finishes off my second card. Okay, for card number 3, we're gonna make a burger card. Oh my gosh, I've been trying to diet, and so burgers are on the brain, and I loved the way this little card turned out. So I have a piece of this pattern paper. I trimmed it down to 4 by 5¼ inches and adhered that to my card base. And for my sentiment, I'm going to use this little die cut piece. I wanted to use ribbon but couldn't find yellow ribbon, so I'm going to use another piece of pattern paper. This is the yellow pattern paper that was in the pack, and I'm kind of making it look like a faux ribbon. I just added that to my little tag. This says good food and good mood equals good mood. I'm going to trim off the top a little bit, and then we're going to end up tucking the top of this tag behind the pattern paper. So I'm just carefully lifting it up and just doing a little bit of tucking, and then this way it looks like my pattern paper is just tucked behind there. Nice and clean looking. We'll tack that down, and then I'm going to add a piece of foam adhesive behind my sentiment. Give that a little bit of dimension. Okay, and next we're going to add our burgers. I'm going to use both of the die cut. This month the die cut pack has 2 of everything. So I have 2 of the hot dogs here and then 2 of the burgers. I'm also going to take a 3/4 inch strip of the same yellow pattern paper, and we're going to angle the end here on the left. I'm going to use my tape runner and adhere that. Now whenever I have card or pattern paper left over, rather than trimming it off, sometimes I often like to just flip it around on the inside, just because when you write your note, maybe just a little extra splash of color on the inside. So that's what I did there. Just wrapped it around and taped it on the inside. I'm going to go ahead and kind of do my little arranging here. At the bottom burger, I just tacked down with my tape runner, and then the top one I popped up. I'm going to do the same thing with these little hot dogs here. I guess Memorial Day weekend, I was craving hot dogs. I was a good girl though. Okay, after we have this done, I'm going to take some of the chipboard stickers. There's a little green circle that has a gold heart in it. I'm going to add that just above the hot dogs here. I think that's a great place for it. Sometimes I'll play around with the placement a little bit until I find its home. And then I'm going to take my Journey Glaze again, and we're going to add Journey Glaze over the melted, it could be mustard on your burger or cheese, but I added it to that, and then the heart. Okay, for my next card, we're kind of going to make a siesta card. That's what I'm calling it, because I love the cactus and these little banners here. I'm adding foam adhesive behind the banners. We're just going to remove the release paper and add this to the very bottom of my card base. There's just a little bit that hangs over, so I'm going to use my scissors and trim it off. And then for my focal images, I've grabbed some of the cactus. There were 2 of the cactus, and I wanted 4 across the front of my card. So 2 of them over here on the left you can see are the same. And then for my sentiment, I grabbed one of the die cut pieces that says Friends Forever. I added my cactus in that, and I did add foam adhesive behind all of those for a little dimension. Now I'm going to go ahead and take some of the sequins, and I just mixed it up with the white and the iridescent ones here. We'll add 3 next to the sentiment and a couple down here where the banners are. Just glue them down with some glue. Sometimes the sequins stack together, 2 of them together, so I had to separate them. Now for this one, since it is pretty a basic card, it is my little fiesta card, I want to add a little sparkle. So this is Ranger's Diamond Glitter Glue. For stickles, we're going to add some sparkle around the cactus and our little banner there. And that finishes off that card. Pretty easy card, but it has lots of sparkle. Okay, now usually I use my die cuts in the very first card, but I kind of skipped over that one. So we're going to use them right now for this card. I'm taking this pattern paper that measures 3.5 inches wide, or 2.5 inches wide, sorry. And I'm going to place it on the bottom here. Sometimes I thought about putting the pattern paper on the very top, but not for this card. I want to put my, we're going to stamp a sentiment up there, so I'll leave that blank. Now, in my unboxing, I created these little cards here and the little leaves. I created one of them, and then off camera, I've created a couple more so they all match. I just arranged them above that pattern paper, covering up the top edge of it, and then we're going to add these little white flourishes just gluing them with glue. For the centers of my flowers, we're going to end up adding sequins, but before we do that, we're going to stamp our sentiment. Now this sentiment is great for invitations. Oh my goodness, it's perfect invitation little stamp set. But it's also great for sentiments. So I chose the sentiment that says hooray. I'm going to use my Huckleberry Fusion ink. It's a dark blue ink. And I'm going to stamp that in the top. Sometimes with these little stamps here, I usually stamp it with my Versamark, which I couldn't find. So I kind of practice stamped on some scratch paper before I stamp them on my project. But if you ink them up or rub them really good, they stamp beautifully. I stamped my hooray. Now we'll add our sequins to the center of the flowers. And I'm going to keep this one pretty simple. I just love these flowers. Oh my goodness. They are so, so pretty. Okay, so that was that card. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the rest of the flowers that I made during my unboxing. I'm also going to stamp with the little heart image that was in the stamp set that had the hearts in a row. I'm going to stamp with my black licorice ink on the very top of the lightest blue cardstock. This is just a 1-inch strip that I trimmed out. It's 1 inch by 5.5 inches. And I'm going to go full length and add a little detail to that light blue cardstock here. I also took a strip of the medium blue cardstock, and we're going to do a little bit of layering with the leftover piece of that black and white cardstock here. I'm going to add adhesive to my light blue, add my black and white, which is 3 inches by 5.5 inches, and then we're just going to layer all 3 of these together. We'll flip this over. I'm going to add foam adhesive, or no foam adhesive for this one. Sometimes I go crazy with the foam adhesive, so I'm trying to pull back a little bit. But I added that to the card front, and then we have these leftover flowers. Aren't they so pretty? You get all of these flowers in the kit. That's why I think it's just a great value. You get a stamp. I mean, everything that you get is a wonderful value. But for my sentiment for this card, I chose one of the die cut pieces that say Sweet Memories. And we're going to play around with the placement a little bit. I don't tack it down until I'm happy with the placement. But I added the large flower, and we're just going to figure out what to do with these smaller flowers. And also this little flower bud piece here. We're going to actually pick this up, do a little scooting, and then I think this is going to work out great. We'll add our sentiment, and then we'll add these little flowers. And all of these were foam adhesive, including the sentiment. We had foam adhesive behind. Okay, add our little flower bud, and then all we have left to do is add a little bit of embellishment. Now, hindsight, I guess I coulda, shoulda, woulda used the white sequins, but I ended up grabbing my white Nouveau Crystal drops, and I just added a few in the center of the flower and then around the arrangement, just for a little added white detail. Okay, we're already in the next card. I'm going to use some of the die cut pieces. Since there's 2 of everything, I thought we'd create a pattern with these pieces. These are neat because they have little gold stars on them too, so there's some sparkle here. I'm going to arrange them 3 in 2 rows, just making sure that 2 of the same color are next to each other. And then for my sentiment, I did grab the Celebrate Life there, that was part of the die cut pack. Once all my little circles are added directly to my card base, we're going to add foam adhesive behind this sentiment. And I wanted to bring in one more sentiment from the chipboard pack. So we'll grab that, and I wanted to use the Awesome. That I want to put towards the middle. So we're going to add our Celebrate Life first, and then I decided to go ahead and pop up the Awesome sentiment with foam adhesive. And I did the same thing as I did before. I just used my anti-static powder tool to get rid of some of that tackiness. Last but not least, I'm going to add a little bit more sparkle using the iridescent sequins. They have a little bit of a pink hue to them. I'm going to add one of those to each one of the center of these little circle die cut pieces. Just using my glue to secure them down. And then that finishes off that card. Kind of bright and cheery. I like that one. Okay, for my next card, yep, I think that's beautiful just the way that is. We are going to create a barbecue card. I thought this would be great for Dad's Day or a barbecue invitation. So I have my yellow pattern paper here. That measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. We're going to go ahead and adhere this piece to the center. This is the black and white stripe, not really striped, but detailed piece. And that measures 3 inches by 4 1/4. And then we're going to take this blue, and again, instead of cutting it off, I'll just fishtail the end, add some tape behind it, and then we'll bring that on the inside of the card, just kind of wrapping it around. I just add a little extra detail on the inside. Now I have the little barbecue chipboard piece. We're going to add that, and the flames are gold, which is really nice. I have a couple of the die cut pieces. One says Kiss the Cook. The other one says Barbecue Master. This would be a great Father's Day card. If you want to spell out the words Dad with your foam stickers, I think this would be great for that. I'm going to take the little hot dog with a fork here, add foam adhesive just to the hot dog part, and then I'm going to use my glue and add a little bit glue behind the handle, just so the handle's tacked down really well. And then I added both of my little sentiments there. Now I like to add glitter to barbecues because it kind of sparkles, kind of looks like flames are going, and that's what I did with my diamond stickles there. And it did take a little bit more time to dry than on regular cardstock when you add glitter to the chipboard pieces. Okay, so we're moving along to our next card. This I thought would be this kit was so versatile. We have a Father's Day card. We're going to make a masculine card. We have floral cards. And this one I thought would be perfect to make like a little Valentine's Day card even, or something for your anniversary maybe, or even for your boyfriend if you wanted. But I adhered my 5 1/4 inch by 4 inch piece of pattern paper directly to my card base. And then I have a 1/2 inch wide piece of that black and white print. I added that to the lower portion of my card base, and then of course you see I have the gold strip, which is a 1/4 inch strip. Next I'm taking some of the foam alphabet letters, and I picked U, the ampersand, and me, and I'm going to add them. Just, you know what the nice thing is the gold makes it easy to line up, especially if you have a piece of pattern right behind that paper. So I just lined it up so it says you and me. And then I took one of the die cut pieces that says Together Time. We're going to add foam adhesive, pop that up, place it right under the me, and then we have 2 of the hearts that were in the die cut pack. We're going to add foam adhesive behind them and place them just above the you and me. And so it says you and me together time. I thought that's just cute little something for date night maybe. Would be really cute. So there's versatility in the kit. Now you could leave it like this, but of course I want to go a little bit extra, so I want to add some sparkle. I'm going to use that same glitter glue and go a little bit on the lines on the heart, and then also right between the pattern on the you and me and the gold. I'm going to add a little bit of sparkle just down that line, and that finishes off that card. Okie dokie, for my next card we're going to make maybe this could be like a little miss you card. I'm going to take this pattern paper, which I trimmed down to 5 inches by 3 3/4. This is going to leave me border on my card base, and making sure it's centered. We'll add that, and then we're going to take 2 of the houses and we're going to adhere those to a piece of the white cardstock that came with this month's kit. This is actually a 2 3/4 inch square. We're going to add foam adhesive behind our houses, place them leaving a little bit of room on that square where the roofs of the houses kind of pop up over the top, kind of giving it a little something different. And then we're going to use the stamp set. Again, you don't have to use the stamp set just for an invitation, but I thought it'd be cute, like a little miss you card. So in the set there is a sentiment that says come on over, which I would only recommend during this time for friends or family. But I'm going to use my black licorice ink and stamp that just below the houses. And again, kind of seasoning my stamp by stamping it on some white cardstock first. We'll stamp this, making sure it's centered. And there's also some way smaller sentiments that will fit perfectly underneath this, and I chose the one that says "Can't wait to see you." I bet everybody is saying that right now. We'll go ahead, stamp that off a few times, and then stamp our "Come on over" or "Come on over, can't wait to see you" right underneath. Now I had raised that left house and didn't like it, so I'm going to just carefully lift it up, and then just making sure the bottom of the houses are straight across and even above that sentiment there. And I'm happy with that. Get some gold accent on there too, which is really nice. I'm going to flip over my little sentiment piece. We're going to add foam tape behind it. And again, the kit does come with foam adhesive, but I use so much of it that it's easier just to pull from my stash here. We're going to add this a little bit lower than center because we have the rooftop there. And then finish it off, we're going to add some glossiness to all of the windows in here for a little bit of shine. And that finishes off card number 9. 10. That was actually card 10. Oh my goodness. So here's a look at all 10 cards that I made today with the June kit from Spellbinders called Life is a Party. Super fun. I hope this gives you some ideas how to use the kit. Such a great value. I can't say that enough for everything that you get in the kit. I didn't share with you what I had left over, but I'm sorry, I'm kind of rearranging these because the Journey Glaze is still wet and the glitter is still wet, and I didn't want to smear it on the back of my card, so I'm kind of adjusting it. But I think this kit's a great value. If you guys are a subscriber, you know how much you get in the kit and how much you have left over. But if you're interested in the kit, I'll leave the link down below. And it's a monthly kit subscription that's just fabulous. There's my little Valentine card. I think you get a little bit of everything in this month's kit, which is super nice. And the dies are amazing. Okay, thank you so much for joining me, guys. I wish you a fabulous day. And if you guys want to see still shots, I left them here after the video. But again, if you want to just check out some still shots, you can check out the blog. I listed my blog down below as well. We'll see you soon. Have a fabulous day. Bye-bye.